Hello and welcome to my channel. My name is Shannon and we will be doing a Christmas card. I'll be showing you guys a Christmas card today using the Fawn Reveal Wheel die set, and I have the little doggy snow globe set as well that I'll be using. I'm just showing you the paper here that I'll be using. It's from an older paper pad from Bo Bunny. I really like this, and I will be using part of it as the flooring for my scene to set my scene, and part of it will be wallpaper. So there you go. And here is some holographic paper. Some pretty holographic paper, and I'm doing a 5x7 card here. However, I do cut it down. I preferred it a little smaller for this one. It's like a 4.5 by 5 3/4 card is what I end up making here. So now I am just situating my reveal wheel die over the area that I want to use to set my scene. And then there's the little snow globe attachment from the dog snow globe set from Fawn. One of my favorite places to go online and shop. Love Fawn stamps, stencils, and dies. And here I am just gluing those papers together. Very pretty paper by Bo Bunny. I'm not sure if they have that anymore. It is an older paper pad. A lot of my stuff is older. I'm just trying to figure out here about what size I want this card to be. I can definitely tell it's too big, although I did make another one that's similar to this one. I did make it a 5x7 card, and I will show that to you at the end of the video. And here I am doing a little cutting on my Tim Holtz cutter, which also scores for me if I need that. And I'm going to cut everything all together here, which I've done many times before, and it never works for me. I don't know why I insist on doing that. I should open the card so that I can get a better cut here. So I'm just going to trim it down with my scissors there a little bit. Now that I've figured that out, I'm going to put that away. Wipe off some stuff here. Taking off my low-tack tape. I'm getting out my trimmer, paper trimmer again. Oh, I'm sorry, this is a Stampin' Up paper trimmer. I don't know why I thought it was Tim Holtz. It's Stampin' Up. And I'm going to use my die for the backside paper, which is just, I'm just going to do a regular white piece of paper. It's not special, nothing special there because I'm not using it for stamping or alcohol ink coloring. I do like a specific type of paper for stamping and coloring with alcohol inks. So I'm just going to die cut that out real quick and I'll be coming back. And here I am back with that. So yeah, that's going to be the back side of the reveal wheel element to the front panel of my card. Just sort of situating things here, figuring out where I want to put that little arrow. So I'm going to be looking at those colors that are on that reveal wheel element that I'll be putting on that front panel. And deciding on which colors I want to use that will most closely match the floor and then the wallpaper of my scene. And I die cut out those little elements for the reveal wheel. And I am also going to be getting out the stencil. And I'm showing you there, I'm going to be using that little end table and the doggy. And this is the type of paper, Spectrum Noir Ultra Smooth, that I like to use for stamping and alcohol ink coloring. So I'm going to just cut that piece down, trim it down. And I'm going to be using my smaller Misty today, so I'm just going to trim that up a little bit more. And that should work right there. I'm getting out a mini brad. I have just a few mini brads there. I really like to make these reveal wheel cards. I think it's just an easy little interactive card to do. I'm doing a voiceover, so I imagine I'm just talking about the colors again. I have 3 sets of alcohol markers. I don't have all of the Copics. I have about maybe 3/4 of the Copics, and then I have some older alcohol ink markers that I use if I need different colors, and I have some Ohuhu markers that I use. So here I am getting the stamps out that I intend on using for this. Yep, just 4 of those stamps right there for right now. And then I have some other stamps that I'll be using for the inside part of the reveal wheel. I'm just placing them so I have plenty of space for my dies when it comes time. While trying to keep just some more room so I can stamp a couple more things on that good paper. Just priming those stamps. I've used them before, but they're still really sticky, so I don't want my paper to come up when I stamp it. And there I am using some tuxedo black ink, Memento tuxedo black ink. And then I stamp it. There we go. Oops, my dog did not come out. There we go. And I'll put my black ink on again, just to touch up a few places. Now I'm going to take all that out and do some coloring. I'll leave those stamps on there because I'm going to be doing another card similar. Here I am using some sort of peachy pink colors. I used E93 and R83 for the hat. Just trying to keep with the same colors on that element of the card. And I'll be doing the antlers in a dark brown and then just a slightly lighter brown. I believe that one is walnut and clay is what I'm using there. It does not show up on the video. And now I'll be working on the end table with the walnut and clay. I'm just, again, just trying to match up with my scene that's already has the wallpaper and flooring on it. And I usually go from dark to light while taking the dark colors and just sort of pushing up the dark into the lighter area just to sort of blend them in together a little bit. And then I'm making the drawers just a little bit lighter just to give them a little bit of definition. And see, that sort of matches pretty well. Oh, I'm looking for my silver pen. I did not find it. I'm just using a regular silver Sharpie right there for the handles. I'll be working on the doggo. Just doing the shading right now where I want it to be shaded a little bit. Coming in with a lighter brown. This marker, I believe, is an Ohu marker. Looking at those dies, those are from the add-on set for the dog Snowglobe set from Fawn. I'll be using that dye for that Snowglobe up there. However, I don't end up using that for this. I use the different dye, which you will see later on in the video. I'm going to little tack tape on there. And the rest of my dyes need to be situated on there, so I'm doing that right now. This was a fun one to make. I really do enjoy making interactive cards. That is definitely my thing. And there we go. I'm just saving those to the side so I can use them again for my next card. Which I do use some of the things, but I don't use all of the things for my next card. You'll see at the end, I have a picture of another card that I made. And just looking at that snow globe. Thinking I might do something different. Which I do. And there's my little doggo. Just putting up some of these dies into the packages so I don't lose them. Now I'm just sort of situating things on there to see how I want to do where I'm going to be putting everything, which I kind of have already a pretty good idea about where everything's going to go. I just like to line it up and see how it's going to look as I move along. And here I'm going to just trim down that hat. Where the hat meets the dog on that white part, I'm just going to trim that off. I think it looks better. That way when you just trim off that white part, you'll see. The rest of it I don't worry about, but here we go. Sort of a more cohesive look that way, I think. Now I'm thinking about that little snow globe, doing it with some of that holographic paper, which is exactly what I ended up doing, is using that part with a holographic paper. Just getting all my little parts and pieces there. I'm figuring out if I want to put that extra little piece. It has like these little snowflakes on them. They're super cute, and I am going to use that on there. They're hardly noticeable with that holographic paper, but I notice it. I like it, so I'm going to go ahead and stick that on there. And I'm just trying to figure out how that's going to look at this point. I'm going to glue everything down. That snow globe. And now I'm taking the reveal wheel stencil and I'm going to tape it down with some low tack tape there, and I have my little Tempting Turquoise ink pad there from Stampin' Up. It's an older set, older ink pad, I should say. And I'm just going to blend that on there really well. I think that color matches pretty good. Not too bad. And what I'll be doing on here is putting two words or two phrases on the little holes there, and two scenes for the snow globe. I'll be using the Merry Christmas stamp, the Let It Snow stamp, and then for the scenes that will be a Christmas tree and a snowman. So I'm just figuring out all that. I'll get those stamped. And I'm actually using some sticker paper there for those. I prefer to do the sticker paper than do the masking. Um, it just comes out easier for these little guys. So I'm figuring out which colors I'm going to use there, and I got my two little dies ready to go right there on my Misty. And I'll be using two different colors of green from my Copic markers. One's just slightly darker than the other. I can't remember the names of them. So once I get that figured out, I'll be coloring. And I'm just going to alternate where the darker greens are and the lighter greens are, which is barely noticeable because I think it's just like one number apart from each other on the Copics. And then I'll just be using that sort of, there's a brown marker for the stump, and then that peachy pink I just kept with those colors for even the carrot nose on the snowman. And I'm going to go die cut those out. And here I'm just going to stamp the phrases inside that little stenciled area there. And I'm struggling a little bit with this part. I think those stamps are still super sticky. But I eventually get it just right. I think I will get better at doing these videos. This is my second video doing this card making. I love my hobby, card making. It's super fun. And I'm going to take off that tape now so that I could put those little stickers. So I made those into stickers. So nice thin paper. It shouldn't catch on the reveal well element there. It's going to position them on correctly. There we go. I'm just looking at that to see how that's going to look. Yeah, pretty good. I'm liking it. gathering my foam tape, different foam tape that I'm going to use. And I'm going to put the reveal wheel together now with that little mini brad. I do end up cutting these down a little. I probably didn't even need to do this. And now I'm getting just my little square foam pieces together. I'll just stick 4 around those, around the brad, pulling off the release paper. And put a little glue down on those just to give myself a little bit of wiggle room. Yep, grabbing out my MISTI so I can use the corner there to help make it go on just right. And just lining everything up. There we go. Just again making sure everything is rotating correctly. Everything looks good. So now I'll put my foam tape on. And I just like to put plenty of foam tape on these. And cut down that foam tape a little bit. Making sure everything still spins. Now I'll just pull off that release taper. Oh, one more little piece right there. Yeah. And now I'll pull off the release paper. And once I do this, again, I am going to put some glue on it just to give myself a little wiggle room. One of the best hints for doing these types of things, tips or tricks, one of the best tips I've ever had in card making, it just changed everything for me, believe it or not, was putting on glue on top of foam tape and stuff like that, where you have to, be able to get it just right on there exactly. And I did take out my mat out of the MISTI, so I could just use that corner and see there I am readjusting it. And because I have that glue on there, I am able to do that, readjust that just a little, make sure everything is coming out just right as I turn it. So far so good. There was one little one that just needed an extra little blue, so I got it a light blue And now I am going to put my snow globe on and the end table on there. I'm going to get that squared away. I'm not going to do the full bottom of that snow globe is not completely glued on yet because I know I'm going to put my end table underneath it. I know I'm going to want to do that, so I gave myself a little room under there to do that. Center everything. And now I'm just going to put my little doggo over there. There we go. I don't think it looks too bad. I was worried it would look too busy or the colors would be just too much the same and it would just blend in and kind of wash out, but I actually like how it turned out. So there you go. Now this I just I just bought this little card set at the Dollar Tree or Dollar General. I'm not sure which one it was. I'm putting my back stamp on there now, and the the card base is pretty flimsy, but it's still usable. I didn't have too much of an issue with it. And then there's my little arrow so that the recipient knows that they can turn it and have a different scene. So I'll just go ahead and tape and then glue and put this on my card base. And then I realized, I forgot to do the inside. So I have to get out my big Misty to do that, the inside sentiment. And here you see I am using my white Jelly Roll pen to create snow in the snow globe. Just little dots all over. I'm thinking about that inside sentiment here. Not looking forward to get out the. I love my big Misty, don't get me wrong, but the way I have my camera set up, it's really hard to do this with that big Misty. I could come away from the table a little bit with the camera. I'm working at it. I'm having a hard time with that blank. I'm almost out of that black tuxedo ink. Gonna have to get some more, or I might have a refill for it. I probably do. I'll have to look. So I decided to use just a different color ink. Just some of that turquoise color over it as well. So it's kind of got two colors to it, tuxedo black and that turquoise ink. All right. So now I'm just going to put some dots and lines on the dog just to give her more definition. And some more snow for the snow globe. Just doing a few little touch-ups here and there. Making sure everything works. Now it would be just fine, just like that. But I decide I'm going to try to make it look like a wrapped present. So I need a couple more little strips of the holographic paper there. Oh, and I also die cut a little bow from that holographic paper. And that bow I got from the platform pop-up die. It just came with that. So I'm trying to decide how thick I want this to be. And I'm trimming it down just a little bit. Then I'm going to take my bone folder, or my yeah, I'm going to take that score. I'm going to score those little pieces a little bit so I know exactly where I want them folded. And so it's going to be something like that once I'm done. I'm going to go around, sort of around the back side of that. So I'm going to trim these little pieces down because it's already pretty glued down. I wish I would have thought about this before I started this part. So it was just an afterthought, like, oh, this might look pretty good in this space. So once I just get those situated underneath the whole element there, the whole reveal wheel element, just to sort of make it look like it's a gift. Which it is. When we do these cards, they are gifts. It takes time. And they are sent with love. There, I'm just gluing the whole thing down now. Those two little strips. Yep, I'm liking it. I'm going to put that little bow right there on top. Gluing everything down. All right. I'm going to put everything away here and just, oh, I'm using, I decided to use a vellum and envelope for this one. Mainly because I already had them and it works for this card, and yeah, I really like the vellum envelopes. So I'm going to make two little out of my sticker paper there. Two little places for the addresses to go on the card or on the envelope. And if you're still with me, you'll be able to see the other card I made too. I put it at the end of the video. I hope everyone has a wonderful holiday. Merry Christmas to you all. Or- And then there's my finished product right there. And then there's the other card that I did. It's more of a bigger scene, and you can see the two cards together.